What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the channel again. I am Kyle, Limitless Power Sports Service Repair. What we got going on here, I believe it's a 2021 Axis 500 4x4. Of course, HiSun product, Massismo, Bennche, Coleman, whatever you want to call this thing. This guy found me here on YouTube again. He's about an hour and a half away. So he said basically what he's having issues with is that when he deaccelerates and he gets around 75 miles an hour, he has a bad grinding noise. I already took the passenger seat out, the center console out on this thing. So we're gonna be able to see and hear what that noise has got going on. But I wanna show you guys something real quick. Somebody's asked me some questions. For some reason, my battery just said it died. But anyway, so somebody's asked me about valve clearances, different things. So a lot of times underneath these, underneath the hoods, if they come up on these bad boys, you'll find this little placard right here. Sometimes it will give you the motor size, and some of them, they may have took it off, but they used to have, oh, there you go, there's the oil it uses. Again, the battery said it was dying, but anyways, again, some of these have, you can see where it's got a nice smudge on the camera. Your oil, some of them used to say valve clearances and a few other things. I don't know if they actually do that anymore or not. But this, as you can see, is a 2021. There's a relay box, regulator rectifier that has fuses in it also, battery, winch relay, blah, blah, blah. So let's go ahead and close this hood down real quick. We'll latch it back up and we'll fire it up and we'll take it for a ride to see if we can't see what is exactly going on with this sound he says it's making, so we can't replicate his problem. All right, let's climb in this bad boy. Like I said, you guys can see, woo, that crossbar just about went up someplace it's not supposed to. Holy crap. You can see I got the center console out. Clutches on this side, of course. There's your ECU. I have seen these fill up with water and start to cause problems with the TPS. So keep in mind how deep water you go through. I would recommend not going through water. But, and they say do not dielectric grease these plugs. Why? I'm not 100% sure on this thing, but they say do not put dielectric grease on that. But again, you can check those for corrosion and the pins on the ECU for corrosion. So, all right, let's shut this door. I'm gonna grab the seat belt because this one's got the seat belt deal in it still. All right, let's fire this thing up, see if we hear anything odd. That sounds pretty good there. Let's rev it up. So I don't hear it in neutral. So if there's not a load on it, apparently it doesn't do it. Let's throw this thing in the low gear. Let's take it for a little drive. There's 5, 6, 7 miles an hour. Well, I'm sure you guys heard that, so let's see if we can repeat that. See what mile per hour it was at. So it seems like right where the primary clutch disengages or the wet clutch disengages from the wet clutch drum, or the primary disengages altogether. So we're at 8. Now that's a pretty interesting sound. So we're gonna go ahead and pull into the shop here and yank this bad boy apart and see what we find out on the inside. If you guys can even see me here, I doubt it. See what we can find on the inside of this I guess, Axis 500, MSU 500, Coleman Outfitter 500, 500, everything 500. But anyways, you guys seen a lot of videos on the clutches, so let's go ahead and jump into one more. Now, I don't know how many times you guys want to watch me pull apart the bodywork and everything on these, but I am going to go ahead and do it again on camera. Why not? Most of the stuff is, a lot of this is Phillips heads and some push pins. So that can be the hard part there, some of these push pins. So, I'm getting old and blind. Can't see up close anymore. So let me grab my 8. And I forgot my impact gun. All right, we'll take off this door piece. You guys can see nothing's super tight on this poor thing at all. They had it for a couple of years now. It's an older couple. Just use it around the 30 acres they just bought. So let's go ahead and see if we can't get some of these push pins to actually do what they're supposed to do, but I doubt it because I can't even get a screwdriver to go in there. We'll have to grab a hook and pop those out. Those guys never, I don't know why they put them in there. They might as well just put screws in there and just get it over with, but they almost never want to work. So it's either just use a hook tool and pull them all out. There we go. There should be one more down here. I always forget about that guy because it's kind of hidden. And I think there's a nut on the back side of that one. Yep, and a washer. I'm over here huffing and puffing. Jeez, even worked out this morning. Shouldn't be huffing and puffing like this, but I am. Is there another one? I don't remember if there's another one in here. I know the odes are a little bit different. And lift that. You gotta lift up on that. I cannot get this bad boy to slide out like I want to. Looks like it's jammed. There we go, that. Yeah, it's like it got pinched down here where they got this plate at. Like they got it just like all smashed in, and that's nobody's fault but the factory screwed that all up. So let me see, grab a little pry bar. There we go. Yeah, it's just this little metal piece down there had a hitch in it. All right, let's take this guy off here. Some tins. It's a 13, which I didn't grab. And one other 10. If I ever remember what I did, I just put too much stuff in my pockets. Pull this guy out, throw it in the back with everything else. All right, so you guys seen this part also a few different 100,000 times in these videos, but we'll just keep making them. If I still got these issues, we're just gonna keep making them. Now you can pull this guy back and we can take that loose, take these guys loose, pull this whole thing out here. So I'm gonna go ahead and I believe just take these guys out just because that way none of this will be in our way. Grab a screwdriver here. Couple 8s. If you do this enough times, you'll know where everything goes every time. And this guy here, we can just kind of lift up and set back in here like that. And then we'll pull this back, get in here. I don't know why they would ever put that hose clamp like that, but they stuck it way back, lean way, way back. We'll pull that off, drop it there. We'll take a 10, do that, 8 down here. We'll get this pipe out of the way since we already have an 8 on there. Get that out of the way, throw it out to the side. is it Chris Eastman on the Massimo Odes owner group, or Indeed Woods here on YouTube. He had actually found a guy, he cut this bar out and used part of his old rotor and welded it together so he could take this out and have easier access to get this in and out. I know in the Odes model, you could take it out here and back here and then just slide it out. Now a person could just weld gussets on the side of these things, or not gussets, but plates on the side, and cut this off there and weld the little plates here and here and just tap it and put bolts in there. That way you can pull the bar out anytime you need to access your clutch. It's definitely a lot easier. Biggest pain in the butt sometimes is this little guy here. Sometimes you can push them forwards and sometimes you got to pull them out to get this in and out. So now we'll go ahead and pull all these bolts out, which you guys seen that I don't know how many times, but we'll keep those all separated from everything else we got. That way we know we have all the right stuff here. These should be, I think these are shorties. These two are short. See how much short, well, I think those two are shorter. Let's check the length. I know they used to be. Yeah, you can see how much longer that bolt is compared to this one. So now we'll just work our way around, get to what we can get to here without having to change to my 1/4 inch, which I'm not gonna be able to get to much probably. Let me grab my 1/4 inch setup here. And I use like a 10 swivel, like a little 4 inch snap on it, 1/4 inch extension with a 3/8 to 1/4 adapter and another snap on swivel. You don't have to have snap on, guys. It's what I've had for years and years. Easier for me when they come by the shop instead of me going somewhere, and this stuff actually fits pretty good. That's besides the point. Work with what you got. I make a living out of it. Try to make a living out of working on stuff. Doesn't mean I have to have the best of the best, but I prefer it that way, personally. See, there should be another one down here. Oh, the pain in the butt ones. Here we go. And there should be this last one right here. I think that's it. Is there any more? Yep, missed one right here. I said that thing usually just falls right off. See how your view is here. Probably got you guys in a crappy spot. Let's see, there's got to be one more. I can feel it. It's missing. Gone. 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 Is there one more? Nope, it was just stuck on there. All right, cool. Felt like there's one more on there. All right. Oh, come on, don't go like that. Now, the fun part sometimes, like I said, sometimes you can take this pipe, just don't get too aggressive. If I can get this back out of the way, and push it forwards and down over this little lip. I don't know if you guys can see that from where you're at. Push it forward and down over this. It has room to move over there and back here. That gives you a little bit easier access to get that in and out. Voila. All right, so we know we should be in neutral. Well, but I cannot really spin that thing at all. So I'm gonna do, ow, 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 that hurt my finger. Woo, that's catching there. Smashed my finger, but I mean, I'm actually rotating the motor. Anyways, let's pull this cage off. Whoa, missed my chair, slid back. We'll pull this cage off real quick. Another wonderful, at least in this video, I'll be able to tell you which one's long and probably which one's short, if I can get it on there. I'm having a hell of a time today. You hear how hard that is? So grab my ratchet. Oh, woo. That one's gonna be like that. I'm sure the rest are gonna be the same way, so. Some of these are easier to get with a 3/8 you can get in here pretty easily, but these other ones like down in here, and some of them can be a little bit of a pain in the butt to get to. Well, I cannot get to that guy. Very good. So let's grab my extension, my 10, my 3/8. See if I can't get it in there. A little bit easier. There we go. That one got on there pretty good. Break it loose. So there's that one. Going to take, we'll just take the ones I broke loose, we'll just go ahead and take them all out. What the hell? All right, let's see if we can't pull this cage off. All right, so you can see here we have a long one in the top left. I can get this guy out. Here's another long one on bottom right. And then the other two, I just threw it on the ground. All right, so here's your long, your long ones are gonna be on your top right, bottom left, here and here. Yeah, because this one pull out top, pull this one on the bottom, yeah. Top left, long, our bottom left is a long one here. Top right is a long one. Top left is a shorter one. I don't know how many millimeters, I'm not gonna measure it. And the bottom right is one of the shorter ones. So just remember that when you put it back together, if you want to set it up where you got top right, bottom left, bottom right, top left, set them like that. That's perfectly fine also. So let's see what we got. So right now, what's happening, that is not supposed to be happening. I'm gonna grab two 10mm 6x10 bolts. We're gonna put them in there, get the belt off, and see what's going on with the primary clutch, because that's feeling like the one-way bearing is locking up. So let's see what's going on there. Oh, also you guys can see, this is the updated style on some of these clutches here. They don't have that outer ring on there, and it doesn't have all that grease and everything inside there like the other ones do. Got rid of that outer ring on that. This, like I said, this is an Axis 500 2021. A lot of the ones you've seen on my videos are older, so they have that ring on there that holds all that pressure in on all this. But anyways, we're gonna grab some, I'll grab a 10 mil head, 6x102 bolts. We'll throw it in here with some anti-seize. We'll spin that in and we'll open this up. I'll just keep you guys rolling. Let's not even cut the footage. Why? We'll just roll it, let you guys see how long it takes me to do this type of stuff. And I think the big ones are like 24 millimeters? We'll grab that gun, and what else did I need down there? What did I say? Oh, two 10 mil super long 10 mil bolts, a little anti-seize. You could probably do this with one. You can do this with one bolt if you want, that's fine. I'm gonna make sure I got the right sockets for these guys. Yep, I may have to bring air over to break those loose, but let's grab a bolt here. I'll add just a touch of anti-seize. We don't need to go crazy on it. I know this stuff goes a mile. I hate getting it on my fingers, but whatever. The bearing and housing look good. Let's throw this in here. We'll get that started. And then we'll grab our, where did I put my 3/8 ratchet? All right, let's see here. Probably should grab you guys a better light too. That way you can really see what's going on. I'll do that 1 second. We'll just spread this bad boy all the way open. Let me go grab a light, hang it in here so you guys can see. Pull it out of one UTV and throw it in another. Let's see if we can't figure out how to hang this lovely light in here today. This should give you guys plenty of light. All right. Bam. That'll probably help out tremendously. You think of many times I did this, I'd be used to it, having all the tools I need, but got a lot of other things going on in the shop too. All right, shoes tied, let's go. Let's roll this off the secondary clutch. If I can get my fat hands there to do it. Man, she does not want to roll. Get off that secondary clutch, there we go. All right, there's the belt. So, I believe that's the weights. Oh yeah. That may be some of the problem right there. Push that in and all the weights fell. They're falling sideways, so I think it's locking up. So let's go ahead and pull that off. Let's see if we can get it with this impact. I might have to get my air one out. Whoop, wrong way. All right, remember that one is 120 Newton meters when you tighten it back up, 100 on that shaft. Oh, look at all that belt debris and holy smokes. All right, pull this thing apart. And You can see all the weights are falling down in there. All right, let's see how that, a little bit of grease on that. Yep, that's good. Got a little bit of grease in there, that's good. I mean, it doesn't look horrible. So let's put this back together here. If I can get myself to line up properly. All right, put that back together. Let's pull this inner sheave. If I can get it to slide. Woo. There we go. We'll check it out. It looks pretty good. You can see it's been ran pretty much in all throttle positions, mostly right in here. You just kind of see the discoloration right there more than anything else. Put that up. Let's check this. See, that feels good. Secondary clutch. Let me turn the key on, make sure we're in, so we're not, now we're in neutral. That'll help out a little bit. That's why I couldn't spin it earlier very well. That feels pretty good. So what I'm wondering if that noise, because that feels pretty darn good. So what it sounds like is right before it's disengaging and letting go of the belt, that it's having some issues. So, and it's only got 200 and, how many miles are on this thing? It's got 267 miles on it. And it's got 75 hours pretty much. That's not much, but you heard that crazy, crazy noise. So what I want to do, we'll just blow this out and we'll put it back together. Put the belt on it, put it back together, leave the cover off of this thing, and we'll take it for a drive and see if we can't hear what's going on. I don't think you guys really care to watch me blow this out, but I'm gonna blow this out, cover this up here because there's grease on the inside. I'm gonna blow all this debris out here and then we'll put it all back together, hit it with the gun, tighten it up, put the belt on, and then take it for a drive and see exactly, if we can hear exactly where it's coming from. Because like I said, that feels good. It feels pretty good. A little tough to turn, but not bad. But so I'm gonna blow this out off camera. I said I was gonna leave it running, but what the hell's the point? Blow this off after I cover this up so I don't get any debris down in that nice clean grease. And we'll put it back together and then we'll take it for another drive and see what we got going on. All right, so we're back here with this. We'll drop all the weights back in, the rollers. Pressure plate here, or the slider plate, whatever you want to call it. There's that, just like so. We'll put the rear sheave back on. Check this guy out, make sure she's all good. Looks pretty good. We'll go ahead and put that back on. And then we'll go ahead and put the front one back on. And the nut and bolt, or I should say nut and bolt, the washer and nut. There we go. Gun. We're gonna there's that. Now we're going to throw the belt back on again. And we're going to put it so we're able to read the letters over to primary. And we'll put it over to secondary like so. And then we'll fight trying to get it in. That's what we like to do. And you grab this tin. I'm going to take this bolt back out from the secondary clutch. Move some of these tools out of the way here so we don't run it over here shortly. All right, we'll spin the secondary clutch to get it to close back up. Belt deflection doesn't feel bad. We should actually put the cage back on there to help with the up and down on this guy. So we're going to stick that back in there. Whoop, I got the bottom. Oh, I was like, how did I pull that one off? That like this. Grab. What did I do with my extension now? Can't reach in there with that. Try again. This is the biggest pain in the butt. Is getting some of these bolts in here sometimes. There we go. There's one. There's number 2 going in. Three at the bottom. This, I always hated this one down here. There we go. Put those in about, again, 10, 12 Newton meters. Little light zip with the gun. Ooh, what's this? Huh. Found that sitting back there on the skid plate. I wonder who left that there or how it got there. That's the real question. everything's nice and tight there. I'll grab all my tools, move them out of the way. All my nuts and bolts, I know where they all go, so I'm not too worried about that. These all go in the CVT cover. And this one goes down here on that guy. Got two that go up in the, hold that on the tube. We'll grab all this other stuff. We'll put this cross member back in if I don't beat you guys up too much. This way the seat at least locks in place so we don't have to worry about going anywhere. There's that. We'll grab our seat. Lock it back in. We'll put the seatbelt in right there. Let me pull his light back out. I'm actually just gonna leave it hanging in there, I think. Nah, I can't lay my head on it unless I move it over here. All right, so lights out of the way. Clutch is back on, belt's back on. Grab you guys off the stand. The door won't stay shut, I can tell you that, but that's all right. As long as I don't beat my head on this light up here, I'll be okay. All right, so let's start it back up. Park and brake off. Give it a second here. Throw it neutral or reverse. Back into low. What we're gonna do is go right down the hill, see if it makes the same noise. If it does, we know we got a 6, 7. Yep. I'm not sure what that's gonna be. So what we're gonna have to do here, this is gonna be kind of weird, but we're gonna have to pull the seat out. We're gonna sit right down on the bars here. Not in a very good spot, but we're gonna see what's going on. So it sounds like, all right, so you guys can see it's not spinning, so that's a good thing. We're in neutral, so let's rev it up. Trying to see if we can hear where it's coming from. Yeah, that's possibly wet. So let's take it for a little bit drive again. Throw it low. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9. So that's in neutral. I know we shouldn't do it while we're driving, but that's a pretty interesting sound. Go back to low. Actually, I'm going to put it in high this time. Yeah, I think we're going to go back and pull the clutch back off. We'll check the wet clutch out to see what's going on. Not exactly sure what the sound is, but I don't have my seatbelt on either, so it's spitting and sputtering a little bit here. So we're gonna go up here, check it out, see what's going on, see if that's something to do with the wet clutch, drum, spitting and sputtering. So head back up into the shop. Put it back in neutral, emergency brake on. We will shut it off. We'll pull all that stuff back apart to see and check. We're gonna drain the oil and check the wet clutch. GoPro. All right, guys. So I'm running into a little bit of issue here. The secondary clutch is stuck on with a lot of Loctite. I hit it with a torch. So I'm gonna hopefully be able to work this guy off a little bit at a time. I don't know. Really don't want to be doing what I'm doing. I might be able to put a little pressure on here by putting a little pressure on the backside of the secondary clutch. I don't want to get too crazy. I want it to fly off and, like, you know, I don't know, maybe hit my hand. I'm not sure. Not sure what's gonna happen. I've never. Guess I could try a steering wheel puller, put it on both sides and slide in there, see if I can't get this thing to pop loose. So let me go, I'm gonna grab that, put it on here, and I'll let you guys know what happens. All right, so I got the brake loose pretty easy. I just used, I used a flywheel / steering wheel puller and my K-splitter set I have because I didn't have long enough 6x10 bolts, but got it to finally come off. It just had a bunch of Loctite on it, a bunch of Loctite from the factory. So the oil is draining. You guys done that? So we're gonna go ahead and start taking out some of these bolts here to pull this back CVT cover off, and then we're gonna go ahead and access the access the wet clutch. We'll take a look at the wet clutch, make sure that's all good. Everything feels good as far as the wet clutch bearing goes. We're kind of troubleshooting this one. I haven't really ran across an atrocious noise that bad in a while. So let me go ahead and put away my flywheel puller set real quick. Trying to get back all my proper bolts and everything I need for this, or sockets. All right, we're gonna pull all these off, and all these should have a washer behind them, just so you guys know. Some know, some don't. Oh. You can see the long ones go in the middle. These long ones do not have a washer on them, apparently. I know those do. Let me check for a few others. I know there's a couple in here and other spots. I think there's one over there. I don't know if that's long enough to reach or not. Yep, got that one out. That one will have a washer on it. That doesn't feel like a head of a bolt. It is. Let me get the last one down at the bottom with this guy here. And honestly, that wasn't very tight at all, but that's all right. It's just for the CVT cover. That should be all of them. Pull this bad boy off here. Let me grab a rag to put down. So when we do open this up and what oil's left inside, hopefully we can direct it to run that way through one of these guys. Let me pull this guy over here just a smidge. That should cover it. Remember, this one and this one, I believe, are the long bolts. 8 millimeters. So let's go on. All right, so let's see. Short, short, short. That's a long, okay, so it's long there, short. All right, so long here and here, not here and here, but here and here. Short, short, shorter, and long. And the two long bolts are the same length, and all the other bolts are the same length. Let's pop this off real quick. Take a look what's going on back in here. And the secondary clutch doesn't look bad. The wet drum looks really good. I know the one-way bearing was working, and you can see the letters are facing us when we took that out. So we're just going to try to clean up a little bit of this. I have a new one-way bearing on the shelf, so I may just throw that in there. I don't think that's our issue. By any means. But that was really, really hard to kind of tell what's going on, what that sound was. Again, I'm doing this troubleshooting. You let off the gas, you hear that, I don't know what you want to call it, popping, grinding, slapping. Again, it's a possibility. It does it in high and low, so you know it's not going to be the gear there. So you know it's something to do with either the wet clutch or the primary clutch. I don't believe it had anything to do with the secondary clutch, because that rattling, the secondary clutch doesn't do anything like that, and the secondary looks phenomenal. It just has a spring and a helix in it. So I'm going to grab a new one-way bearing, slap it on here, close this back up, and I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to take a little bit of grease and grease up the weights in that primary clutch to see if that kind of cures that rattling sound. It's a possibility that it's not sliding properly, but I wanted to double check this wet clutch while we're here. But the wet clutch looks phenomenal. No issues there at all. So I'm going to finish cleaning this up. I'm just going to put it back together off camera. No point in you guys watching that, but we're going to put it back together off camera. I'll fill it back up with 2 quarts of oil, and then we'll I'll grease up those weights in the primary clutch and see if that helps cure our sound. All right, guys, so I got the oil drained out of this thing. If you look in here, I don't know how well you can see it. She's pretty sparkly. That's probably rod bearing there. I I mean, a little bit. It's nothing unusual in these guys. I mean, might be hard to see, but yeah. So anyways, we got the clutch back installed on this thing. Everything's back together. So let's fire it up here. Well, I need to take the, man, I'm getting ahead of myself. Dinner time's coming up. I'm getting hungry. Let me pull that out, pull the light off, and then we'll get back to it. All right, got the filler cap back on, light unhooked. It'll stay in here, why not? All right, so we're gonna try this again. Let's see if it makes some noise. I don't know if it's going to, not going to. Let's fire it up, make sure everything sounds good sitting here at an idle first. We're in neutral. Sounds good there. Let me grab my seatbelt because I don't have these bypassing this man's unit. There's the seatbelt. Shift high, low. Got to push on the brake really hard to get into reverse. All right, so let's back out here. Make sure I didn't screw anything up, so that seems like it's still working pretty good. I didn't screw that up. Low range, preferably. All right, let's see if we get some sound again. Just headed down this hill right here. 5, 6, 7. Sound is gone. Now, all I did was replace the one-way bearing. Sounds fantastic. No more sound, no more noise. You can't see down in there, but I don't have the clutch housing on. So we're just coasting at 5 miles an hour. Sounds really good. So it must have been the one-way bearing going south on this thing. You guys can see the speed. It was a 7.54. So I'm pretty pumped about that. So I think we got this thing cured. Let's try a high range and we'll head back up to the shop. Turn around up here in the front. Eight, 6.5, no big deal there. Eight, 6.5. All right, here we go. Give it some gas, make sure it holds together at speed. So let off the gas one more time. No more grinding, no more popping. So I'm gonna call that a one-way bearing issue. We'll pull back into the shop real quick. If I can't get here at a decent angle. Neutral, park and brake. We'll shut her off. So guys, I'm gonna call that fixed. I mean, it was, I put a new one-way bearing in there just because we were there, and I figured the way it was sounding, if you coming off a decel, that it was kind of, at that mile per hour, it's kind of grinding and popping and everything's starting to kind of get a little funny there. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that was, because you think about it, the one-way bearing's working all the time. When it's sitting in neutral, it's spinning, blah, blah, blah. The clutch is sitting still, all that. So it could have been slipping at the very end, grinding and slipping a little bit when it's starting to kind of get on that decel. And of course, you heard, we cleaned up the primary clutch, and that didn't make a difference when we put it back together. Now, I did put a little bit of grease, just like a slightest little coat of grease on the sliders and on the weights inside of the round weights. That could also, that slider plate could have been getting hung up. So maybe now it's sliding nice and properly and not letting it get hung up and letting those weights slap around. So those two things I did replace. I did replace that one-way bearing. I didn't replace two things, but the one-way bearing, I replaced it just in case we're there. Why take it apart again? And then just a touch of, I mean, just a touch of grease on the sliders, on the primary clutch, and just a little touch of grease on the weights inside there. I know a lot of these things are starting to run without grease. Some of them still have a lot of grease in them. Kind of depends on which model you get, but so I wanted to do that. So it seems like we cured that problem with that banging and knocking. So hopefully maybe it's that slider plate was getting hung up and those weights were in there were slapping around and falling around, causing that noise. I probably should have just did one thing at a time. Probably should have just did a one-way bearing, put it back together, double check it. But I figured, you know what, just go on and knock it all out just a little bit, see if that cures the problem. So I'm gonna call it cured. I'm gonna go ahead and put this thing back together tonight. I'm sure the customer's going to be calling me. I'm calling him and be like, "Oh, I'm done. It's fixed." And he's going to be like, "Man, I just drove an hour and 20 minutes, and you're already done with it. Got to come back tomorrow." So we'll give him a holler, let him know what's going on with it, what I had found and what I replaced. Again, guys, if you haven't subbed to the channel, I really appreciate it if you do. Give it videos a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Either one kind of helps the algorithm regardless. And again, if you guys need to get a hold of me about motorcycles, ATVs, or UTVs, you can email me at limitlesspowersports78@gmail. Find me on Facebook at Limitless Power Sports Service and Repair. TikTok at Limitless Power Sports Sir and Rep. Again, guys, I appreciate it. And everybody who's subbed to this channel, I really appreciate that. And I'll catch you guys on the next upload.